It started with a text message at 2:14 a.m. I only know the exact time because the blue light of my phone woke me from a shallow, restless sleep. I have an old apartment in the city, the kind where the radiator clanks randomly and the walls are thin enough to hear your neighbors' muffled conversations. But at 2 a.m., the building is dead silent. My phone buzzed against the wooden nightstand, a harsh, vibrating sound that shattered the quiet. No contact name appeared on the lock screen. It was just a string of digits with a local area code I didn't recognize. The message contained a video file. No text, no context, just a 4-second clip titled IMG_0941.MP4. I rubbed my eyes, assuming it was a drunk text or a wrong number media blast meant for someone else. I clicked play. The screen was completely black, as if the camera lens had been covered or pointed into an unlit closet. There was no visual information at all, but the audio was crystal clear. It was the heavy, rhythmic, slightly congested sound of someone sleeping. A deep inhale, a slight pause, and a long, whistling exhale. Annoyed and slightly unnerved by the intimacy of the audio, I quickly typed back a reply. Think you got the wrong number, buddy. Check your digits. I tossed the phone face down on the mattress, rolled over, and tried to pull the blanket back over my shoulders. But the silence of the room felt different now. Less peaceful, more oppressive. Exactly 3 minutes later, the phone buzzed again. My heart did a strange, uncomfortable flutter against my ribs. I picked it up. It was another video from the same number. This one was 8 seconds long. When I pressed play, the screen wasn't entirely black this time. There was a tiny, dim sliver of amber light illuminating a narrow strip of hardwood floor. The camera was resting low to the ground, and it was moving. It tilted upward in a slow, sickeningly smooth motion. The audio was identical to the first clip. That same heavy, slow breathing. But 4 seconds into the video, a second sound joined the audio track. A faint, high-pitched, electronic chirp. The phone slipped out of my hand, landing softly on the duvet. My throat went completely dry. My apartment's kitchen smoke detector had a low battery glitch, and it had been emitting that exact, infuriatingly specific high-pitched chirp every 45 seconds for the last 3 days. The camera in the video wasn't in some stranger's house. It was inside my apartment. Part 3. Out of the closet, I lay perfectly still, every muscle in my body locked into place. My mind raced through the layout of my small apartment. The front door had a deadbolt. The fire escape window was locked. How could anyone be inside? Before I could even think about reaching for the baseball bat beside my bed, the screen of my phone lit up one final time. It wasn't a video. It was a single line of text. Not a wrong number. You just don't remember inviting me in. A wave of primal, animalistic terror washed over me. I didn't dare turn my head. I didn't dare look toward the far corner of my bedroom, where my walk-in closet sat, its door left slightly ajar. I held my breath, desperate to hear the ambient sounds of the city outside to ground myself. But the city was dead, and in the absolute silence of my bedroom, I realized the audio on my phone had stopped playing. Yet, the heavy, rhythmic, slightly congested breathing was still echoing through the room. It was coming from inside the dark gap of my closet door, just 5 feet away from my bed, and it was getting faster. Story 2. The Night Shift Script. Working the graveyard shift at a city crisis hotline forces you to develop a certain kind of armor. You hear humanity at its absolute lowest points, stripped of all pretense. After 2 years on the phones, I thought I'd heard every variation of panic, grief, and terror. I knew the script by heart. I knew exactly when to validate, when to de-escalate, and when to silently signal my supervisor to trace the call. But nothing in the training manual prepares you for a caller who knows the script better than you do. The line rang at 3:40 a.m. The digital display on my console didn't show a name or a location, just a scrambled routing code that usually indicated a VoIP or internet spoofed number. When I pulled the headset over my ear and clicked over, the audio was immediately distressing. All I could hear was frantic, ragged sobbing, punctuated by a wet, smacking sound. It sounded like someone trying to speak while swallowing their own blood. Crisis Helpline. My name is Marcus. I'm here, and you're safe. Tell me what's going on, I said, my voice dropping into the calm, authoritative baritone I always used.
Help me.
A woman's voice whispered. She sounded young, breathless, and utterly terrified.
He's outside. He has a crowbar. Oh God, he's breaking the sliding glass door in the back. Please, you have to help me.
Standard protocol kicked in instantly. I began typing with one hand while keeping my voice steady. I'm right here with you, ma'am. I need you to stay on the line. Can you tell me your address or the closest cross streets? She stammered out an address. 1422 Elmhurst Lane. I recognized the neighborhood. It was a quiet, affluent suburb about 20 minutes north of the call center. I signaled my supervisor across the room, pointing at my screen. She immediately grabbed her desk phone to dispatch local PD. Okay, I've got emergency services routing to you right now, I lied smoothly, knowing it would take dispatch at least 4 to 6 minutes to get units on the scene. I need you to move to a room with a lock, a bathroom, or a closet. Can you do that for me? Through the headset, a horrific, echoing crash of shattering glass exploded into my ear. The woman let out a piercing, raw scream.
He's inside. He is inside the house.
She shrieked. I could hear her footsteps slamming against hardwood, followed by the heavy, thudding boots of someone pursuing her. The audio became a chaotic vortex of noise, struggling, a door being kicked open, and then a sickening, heavy thud. The woman's screaming abruptly cut short into a horrific, wet, gurgling choke. Then, the ambient sound of a room, a clock ticking, gentle breathing. I sat paralyzed in my ergonomic office chair, tears welling in my eyes. My hands hovered over my keyboard, completely frozen. I waited for the line to disconnect, for the dial tone to signal the end of the tragedy. I waited for the line to disconnect, for the dial tone to signal the end of the tragedy. Instead, the line stayed open. The sound of heavy boots shuffled closer to the phone's microphone. A man's voice came through the receiver. It wasn't frantic or angry. It was calm, rhythmic, and terrifyingly close to the mic.
She's gone,
the voice said. Who is this? I stammered, my professional armor completely shattering. The police are entering that property right now. Lay down your weapon. The man let out a dry, raspy chuckle that rattled my headset.
They're entering a very quiet, empty house, Marcus. She didn't dial this hotline. She didn't even know who you were. I dialed a random number from her contact list while she watched me. I just wanted someone to hear the performance.
My breath hitched. What do you mean, her contact list? Who are you? The voice dropped an octave, the tone turning cold as ice.
I'm looking at her phone right now, Marcus. Her name was Sarah. And right next to your number in her recents, it lists your home address under the emergency contact info. You forgot she had your old cell number, didn't you?
Before I could speak, the man whispered my exact current apartment number into the microphone.
I'm at her house tonight,
He whispered right before the line went dead.
but I'll be at yours tomorrow. Make sure you leave the script out.
Story 3. My younger sister Clara had been missing for exactly 6 months. The police investigation had long since gone cold. The neighborhood search parties had disbanded, and the missing person flyers pasted around downtown were fading and peeling under the winter rain. I was drowning in a specific, exhausting kind of grief. The kind where you can't move forward because you don't have closure. On a Tuesday evening, I was sitting at my home office desk, staring blankly at a spreadsheet, trying to force myself to work. At 11:12 p.m., my phone began to ring. It wasn't a standard call. It was a FaceTime request. The caller ID simply read, "Unknown number." Normally, I would ignore it. But in the back of your mind, when someone you love is missing, you answer every unknown call. You always think this might be the one. I swiped to accept the video. The screen was heavily pixelated at first, distorted by thick bands of digital static and a low, rhythmic humming sound. But as the connection stabilized, my heart stopped and the air left my lungs. It was Clara. She was sitting against a stained concrete wall, illuminated by a harsh, flickering overhead fluorescent light. Her hair was matted, her face was pale and drawn, and she was wearing the same oversized green flannel shirt she had on the night she vanished. "Clara!" I screamed, slamming my hands onto the desk as I leaned into the screen. Tears instantly blurred my vision. "Clara, oh my God, where are you? Who has you?" The coordinates. She didn't look at the camera. Her eyes were fixed on something just off screen, hollow, classy, and completely devoid of life. She didn't react to my screaming. Instead, her lips parted, and she began to speak in a flat, monotone cadence.
45.729.
She muttered, her voice raspy and dry.
Negative 73.448.
It was a sequence of numbers and letters, coordinates, GPS coordinates. "Clara, look at me. Who is doing this to you?" I sobbed, frantically grabbing a stray piece of scrap paper and a ballpoint pen from my desk organizer. I began scribbling the numbers down as fast as she spoke them.
Sector 9. Blue door. Underneath.
She continued, her voice completely flat, like a robot reading a script. "I'm calling the police right now. Hold on, stay on the line." I cried out, my hands shaking so violently I nearly dropped the pen. For the first time since the call began, Clara's head snapped toward the camera lens. She looked directly into my eyes. A tragic, broken, terrifyingly sad smile spread across her face. She whispered 4 words.
Don't look up.
The screen instantly cut to black, The call was disconnected. I sat there panting, my chest heaving. I immediately opened the map application on my desktop computer and typed in the exact coordinates she had recited. The map zoomed in, flying across the state line, before dropping a bright red pin directly onto a remote, heavily forested area 3 hours north of the city. Zooming in further, I could see the rusted roof of an abandoned industrial warehouse surrounded by overgrown trees. My hand shook as I reached for my phone to speed dial Detective Miller, the lead investigator on Clara's case. But before I could hit dial, the phone buzzed in my palm. It was a multimedia text message from the exact same unknown number. It was a photograph. I clicked it open. The photo was taken from a high top-down angle. It showed a cluttered wooden desk illuminated by a single lamp. Sitting at the desk was a young man with dark hair, wearing a gray hoodie, frantically writing on a piece of scrap paper with a black pen, holding a phone in his trembling left hand. It was a live photograph of me, taken from the ceiling of my own home office just 10 seconds ago. The realization hit me like a physical blow, turning my stomach entirely inside out. Clara hadn't been calling me from a warehouse 3 hours away. That footage was old. Someone had used her phone, climbed into the crawl space above my ceiling through the hallway maintenance hatch, and played a pre-recorded video of my missing sister just to keep my eyes glued to the desk. And as a soft wooden creak echoed from the dark air vent directly above my head, I realized I had just spent the last 5 minutes screaming my plans to an empty room.